evening, everyone. I've still got music going. Oh no. I can't stop my music. I don't know where the music's coming from. There we go. Oh no, I've got a major echo. I can't stop my music.
OBS just is the worst. Like, it's really cool in case anybody from OBS sees this, but it's so freaking difficult to set up seamlessly.
My favourite thing though is it's just such a happy tune. It's like, where has it come from? Anyway, welcome back to the channel. We are trying to adjust. Obviously, we've started 10 minutes late. I just had a message from Az saying, are you having issues? So I've obviously played that one off really well. But thank you so much for joining this evening. There are already some questions in the chat, which is nice to see. But Ellie and I have just filmed a video on her channel, which will be going live this evening. Is it tonight?
I think either tonight or tomorrow morning. Haven't decided yet, but yeah, it'll be going live within the next day.
So, of course, do check that out. Ellie, thank you so much for joining. Do you know it's been 10 game weeks since you're on the channel?
What?
I know, it's been absolutely ages.
But how is that even possible? Like, I know it had been a while, but that should be illegal. Like,
we've been really consistent, but I think it may come as a surprise to the people that are watching. I'm not feeling fully confident with streaming with another person yet. So I think I've just put it off, but we will become professionals soon enough. Let's have a look in the chat who is here. We've got Roberto, FPL Yellow Army, Salah's in the chat, Eddie's in the chat, Charlie's in the chat. Charlie says, hi, Darth Bizzle, have you tried turning it off and on again? I think I was very close to just ending the stream and panicking and then pretending it never happened.
That's what happened to me yesterday when I had my stream echo problems. I was like, I just want to end it now because I know that it's like not working properly. And
the good thing is everyone in the chat was really nice yesterday and they were like, it's fine, because I was busy, so I was pottering around, so I had you on and it was nice to just have some like someone speaking about Chelsea in a nice way. It was good to share thoughts. I really enjoyed it, so don't worry about the lag.
I know. What I was gonna say is, like, if you go to my channel and watch like any live stream, hopefully I'll have the lag fixed. But if you watch the one with the lag from yesterday, just put it on like podcast, because then you won't really notice the lag because you're not watching the video. So
the content on your channel this season has been so good, and there's such a variety of things, and you're interviewing people, seeing how they got into the industry, and then obviously the Chelsea reviews, the FPL things. So keep it up, because I absolutely love it, and I missed you over Christmas.
I know we've both been so busy and like with our families and stuff, so I'm glad that we're like finally starting the new year, like a month late, but that's okay. And we're gonna be like up and ready for spring, basically.
Exactly. And hopefully Green Arrow's incoming.
Yes.
Super Duper has said Elizabeth's accent is dreamy. Your accent is the best. It is so nice to listen to.
Oh my God, I think that's the first time, I'm not even joking with you guys, I think that's the first time that anybody's like said something pleasant about my accent.
Really?
So, yeah, because for me, it's always been like the English accent is the dreamy one. So, and everybody's like, oh, the American accent sucks. Like, oh, I want a cool accent. So thank you so much.
I was going to say, you've got a fan in here. We've got Aziz in the chat. He said, Yelena's learning tech from me. That's the issue. I don't want to pass the blame, but this is like the equivalent of someone saying you are good enough to drive and then me going straight into a brick wall. So hopefully we've got the tech issues out the way. So let's start off with Roberto, who was the first in the chat. He said, should I buy Richarlison, Jota or KDB? I've actually got, prepare yourselves people, because I'm going to go to a different screen. This is my team currently, but I thought we can use it for player comparisons and all sorts. So Ellie, out of the three, who would you say jumps out at you from Richarlison, Jota and De Bruyne?
So I tend to play FPL off of more like gut reactions in the eye test. I don't look at like underlying stats so much. So that's what I'm basing my answer off of. And for me, I'm really interested in Richarlison at the moment. He's somebody that I've kind of had my eye on, but I have been holding off transfers, and I thought that he looks really good, especially with Son coming out. Obviously, we have to see with Madison potentially coming back in how that's going to affect him. But I really like that fixture. I think Spurs do have good fixtures coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with Jota, I don't know if I'm just like burned from him from seasons ago of always having him at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Um, but I just like don't feel that like gut instinct to go for him. It could be a really good replacement for Salah since he's going to be out for 4 to 5 game weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
somebody that I'm kind of eyeing. He obviously had a big haul. Um, but my heart's just not in it, if that makes sense. And KDB, I really like the look of. I've got my eye on him. The only thing is for the price, I'm a little bit worried with the minutes. Obviously, we know what he did off of the bench, and
Mm-hmm.
he's coming back into it. But the price point is kind of holding me back a bit. But he's another one that I'm looking at to see maybe if I give it another game week and he does well, I might just go on and bring him in. But yeah, you have Richarlison's fixtures coming up, and they just look so positive. So I think if I had to pick any, and I might do this transfer myself actually, I think I'm gonna do Salah to Richarlison potentially.
Oh, that's an exclusive.
I know because I just decided in the 30 minutes since we finished recording.
I think Richarlison's a really, really good option until Son comes back. And obviously, Madison's fit now. He's back in training. So it's going to be interesting to see Spurs. And Werner, what do you think of that? We were filming an Ellie stream and I said about people returning to the Premier League. We had De Bruyne, Werner, and Tony. So what do you think about Werner? Because I honestly, the fact that he came away with an assist in that game, I was shocked. I'm glad he started off strong.
I know. I think he's such like a fan favorite at Chelsea, even though we maybe didn't see his best. He
Hmm.
always tried 110%, and I think that's definitely what he's bringing to Spurs. And he's also super fast. The thing with Werner though is like the decision making. Like he has some opportunities, and he kind of fluffs the easy opportunities it sees.
Hmm.
It seems, but I'm excited to see him play under Postecoglou. I always like mess up the pronunciation of the manager. I'm so
You're
sorry.
saying that to me. I can't even name the players.
um, but I think like he could be one to watch because if I'm not mistaken, he's come in pretty cheap at like 6.5 million. I'm definitely not bringing him in just yet.
Hmm.
But it could be an exciting option for Spurs.
Yeah, definitely. I think going back to Roberto's question, I would say Richarlison as well. I think for now, before Son comes back, I think he's a really, really nice option. He's done well in recent game weeks. I've had him in my team, so I'm probably quite biased on this one because I don't have Jota or KDB. But I think he's my standout pick from Spurs. And then I think I favour Trent for a Liverpool asset, and then I'd
Mhm.
go more Foden, Alvarez, or Bernardo Silva, I think, from City. So as much as I would love to bring in De Bruyne, but the post-match interview he did, he was admitting himself he could barely breathe. He needed a break. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time for De Bruyne to get back up to a 90-minute standard. But if he ends up being one of those players that comes on for kind of 10-minute cameos and gets returns during that time, might be one to go for.
Yeah.
Um, Salah says, as Haaland is very close, most likely on bench for Game Week 22 and back to starting Game Week 23, how are you planning for that? So personally, for my team, I mean, it was just said, I think Pep just said that he's still not ready for the FA Cup fixture tomorrow, but he is close. So that is a very, very vague assessment of how Haaland's doing at the moment. So I'm not going to take a hit to bring him in, but I can easily do Salah out to Bernardo Silva. And then for the front three, I don't actually know who I want to take out. I think it'll probably be Darwin. And then I've still got that coverage from Trent for Liverpool. But I'm in quite a nice. Actually, I think I might have to take out Watkins price wise.
Interesting. I was
Mm.
I was just having a play around with it, and if I sell Salah for Richarlison,
Hmm.
I have enough money in the bank that I could take out Solanke and bring in Holland, and I would still have 2.6 mil in the bank.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how that works. Like, why do I have so much money? Um,
Team value is up there.
it's getting on Cole Palmer. Like that was,
So early. How many weeks ago did you bring him in?
I think I brought him in when he was like under 4% owned, um,
Mm.
which is I don't remember when, but it was a while ago. But um, yeah, I think it depends what you want to do with Salah. I know a lot of people sold Trent and were thinking about holding on to Salah until the news of him being injured broke.
Hmm.
Um, and we were speaking about this in our video on my channel that it probably makes sense to sell Salah at this point with
Hmm.
the injury news. So I think that you should be able to fund Haaland taking out Salah. And if you want him for game week 23, you don't even need to take a hit for it,
Yeah.
likely.
If I decide to get rid of a cheaper forward, I could do Trippier out. There's the rumours that Trippier's. Oh, I'd lost you then. You're back. Hello.
Hello. Why is my video so okay? I think it's gotten better now. Okay, okay, cool.
You're good to go. Yeah, there's the rumours of Trippier going to Bayern, I think it was. So,
It's crazy.
so that could bring some funds for me, and I think quite a few people. What's his ownership at now?
Oh, that's why.
38%.
It's because I sold Trippier. That makes
Uh,
sense.
Classic. He was heartbroken, had to leave. We have got Eddie says, will Haaland be fit to play? If not, I'm thinking Foden and for Son. And should I wait on Walker or buy? I have Estupinian, Porro, Trent, Gabriel. So should I play 4 in the back or 5 in the midfield? I can bench Garnacho. So I don't think Haaland will be fit to play, judging by the latest news. I really like Foden and for Son. I think that's a really good shout. Wait on Walker or buy. Who would you take out of that defence? Because I think it's quite a strong defence, especially for this game week. I think having Walker in ahead of the double would be a nice position to be in. But I think at the moment people are kind of just making transfers for the sake of it. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that. That's actually my back line. Well, I have Saliba instead of Gabriel, but I'm looking at that and I don't know if I would necessarily make a transfer. Do you have one free transfer? Do you have two?
I've
Like, who are
just
you thinking
seen
about transferring?
Eddie went on to say, I have 2 free
I'm
transfers and he's also got Trippier. So I think I'd be tempted to. I don't know whether I'd use both. I guess there's no harm in it and it sets you up nicely for the double. Take out Trippier, I'd say, for Walker.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well. And I would just make sure that you don't have to take a hit to get Holland back into your team, which it sounds like you wouldn't need to.
Hmm.
Um, and you could do Holland next week. I always
Yeah.
like kind of like if you don't have an issue in your team, I tend to just like kind of leave it. But Trippier and Newcastle haven't been keeping clean sheets, so I think that's a pretty safe one to transfer out. He's gonna go
Um,
on Hall now.
yeah, I was going to say, Villa at home as well were quite strong. I mean, it could be worth just playing it. Because the thing is, there's no sort of fires that need to be put out in that defence. So you could just take it slowly, bring in Foden, and then just wait until we get the news on Haaland. So maybe patience is key with this one.
Yeah, I'm thinking it just seems like you'll have a bit of a benching headache
Hmm.
as well. So, but totally up to you.
This is the problem with all the big players off now
Mhm.
because you've just
No.
got so much money. Charlie says, hi, Yelena and Ellie. Important stuff first. How's the door? Oh, did you hear about this yesterday? Our front
No.
door it's been an absolute pain to do. Like, you couldn't lock it. You had to it turns out you had to physically lift up the door to lock it. So every time I've closed the door, I've been like, I'm putting in all my strength. Anyway, a lovely man came yesterday and fixed it. So the door can now be locked. Colm says, which is better, attack the double, Saliba to Walker, or get rid of the blankers, Gusto to Branthwaite, Van Heck? Oh, that's quite a good. So my instinct is attack. I quite like the aggressive moves with that one, and I do like Saliba to Walker. But Van Heck, that's an interesting pick. I think my instinct says Saliba to, but then I probably would just keep hold of Saliba. What are Arsenal's upcoming fixtures?
It's so hard because I feel like there's a lot of like good defenders and midfielders now that
Hmm.
have come into the game, and there's a lot that you can do
Yeah,
with your transfers. So, oh, I think I would attack it, but I
yeah.
also what are his fixtures?
We've got Forest, Liverpool, West Ham, Burnley. See, I don't think they're awful fixtures. I mean, Arsenal aren't the best
But
defensively.
he's been kind of like up and down. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They haven't been the best defensively.
No, and we haven't had an attacking return from Saliba since game week 12 against Burnley, but they do play Burnley again in 25. And after seeing Gabriel's haul at the weekend, which I did not get to enjoy, and neither did you.
I know. Now I'm like, do I? Oh my God! And City have really good fixtures as well. Like, am I being stupid? Should I? Should I bring Walker into my team now,
Well, I
guys?
was thinking of bringing in Walker. If I go on to transfers, I really wanted to bring him in. And then the week that I bought in Saliba instead, Saliba lost the clean sheet, Walker got a clean sheet. And then last game week, Walker got the assist. So I was really kicking myself over that. But
No.
City's fixtures do look nice. Burnley at home, Brentford away, Everton at home. Plus, you're lined up nicely for the double in 25. I think attack Saliba to Walker.
Oh, now I'm doubting the transfers that I should make. I'm gonna be taking like a -8. I was between rolling the transfer in my last video, and now I'm like, okay, I need to attack
Attack.
it.
Alex says, with the news that Haaland is not fit for the FA Cup game, would it be wise to stick with Alvarez for at least one more game week if you already own him? I would say yes. Do you agree?
I think if you don't, especially like if you have more pressing matters in your team, or you can roll the transfer to make sure that you get Haaland, I would stick with him, because I do think that he's going to play, and he is a possibility for getting those attacking returns. I think he's affected my rank actually not just recently, not so long. I think I got a little bit lucky because he has been getting into good positions, and he hasn't been scoring as much as I felt that he necessarily would be. So I think I would hold him for one game week, and then maybe you can just do a straight swap of Alvarez to Haaland.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Alex also said, with the latest news about Haaland's absence for the FA Cup, would De Bruyne be a better option than Haaland for the upcoming game week? We've touched on it at the start of the stream. I'm not fully there with De Bruyne yet. I think he's a great asset. I wouldn't be surprised if towards the end of the season we've all got him. But for now, need to see a bit more in terms of fitness. And I think they're going to give him quite a gradual return to the league, which is understandable. We have, as Philip says, I'm getting Madison this week. I think A, is this stupid because he's been injured? B, is this stupid because he misses a game in 26 and 29? I mean, the thing is, Az has got such a soft spot for Madison. And again, there's something with players, when they return after a period of time, they always just seem to really go for it. But one of Az's rules is to be wary of players that are coming back from injury. So, I don't know. I think Madison probably is a better long-term option than Richarlison as long as he stays fit. But then you do have the blank in 26 and 29, but that's ages away. That's future problem.
That's future as this problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm super impressed that you're looking so far ahead, because I don't tend to look more than like 3 to 4 game weeks, maybe 5 at the absolute most.
Is this where we're going wrong?
Yeah, I know. So I'm really impressed with that. I don't have the guts to bring him in just yet, but look, like it's been a theme that all of these new players that have come back, like De Bruyne and Tony, and even Werner got an assist, like they have been returning. So why not? You could be totally ahead of the curve.
Yeah. And the ownership only at 7.8%. I mean, he has just then said, I hate Richarlison. So maybe that explains it. Talking of planning ahead, though, I did put together this graphic going up to the blank in game week 26. So I think this is something to definitely keep in mind in terms of bringing in players. Because I think if I didn't own Richarlison already, I think I'd be looking elsewhere just because of the blank that is coming up. But I've got a fair few players that will be out during the blank. But obviously we can use the free hit chip for that game week to get us through, which I think at the moment it's looking quite likely that I will do, because I wouldn't be surprised if by game week 25 I have triple Liverpool. It's really tough, isn't it?
Yeah, because I have Palmer. I don't think I'm going to own any other Chelsea assets, to be honest with you. Ben Chilwell actually would be a very interesting shout. that could be a discussion after this. We can get back to it. And then I did want more Liverpool assets, but see, you already have Darwin. I feel like I've missed the Darwin
I would
train.
not get Darwin.
So I realistically will probably only have one Liverpool player. I don't know if I'm going to bring in a Liverpool midfielder, and then I could
Mm.
have 1 to 2 Spurs players. Um, but we're actually kind of getting towards the point where people are going to be using their chips, so it probably makes sense to just use the free hit if we're going to have 4 to 5 players, 4 to 6 players out potentially
Yeah.
um, in game week 26. And now I'm like rethinking everything. I said at the beginning of the stream, okay, yes, Salah to Richarlison, perfect. This makes sense.
You're going to be taking a -12. You'll be
I know at
ready.
this rate, like I'm just gonna change my entire team. Like I'm just gonna wild card.
It's tough, but it's definitely something to think about. Because it wasn't until I put this together that I was like, actually, now I can't just do transfers for the fun of it.
I
Because we're
know.
going to have blanks. There's a potential double for
Mhm.
Liverpool and Luton, if there are any Luton players that you've got your eye on. I would actually be tempted to take a 1 week punt on someone from Luton, not sure who, for that Sheffield United home fixture. Because I
Ooh,
think that
yeah.
could be an exciting one. That's as wild as my team is getting.
Yeah, but are you thinking about using the triple captain anytime soon then? Like,
So this is a problem because I was pretty much certain that I was going to use the triple captain on Salah if double game week 25 does go ahead with Luton at home and Brentford away. Now I don't know. And we don't know about Haaland's fitness because if you're not using the triple captain, oh, someone's at the front door, it's all going off. If you're not using the triple captain on Haaland or Salah, I think it's a real risk on who you pick to go for.
I know, and that's what I'm thinking as well. But I might be a little bit stupid for this, but since Chelsea and Liverpool are obviously missing for the cup final, like there should be a double
Hmm.
announced for them
Yeah.
as well. We just don't know when.
Mm. Would you risk a Palmer triple captain?
Oh my God. Like I don't know if I've captained him this season, but he's kind of been like my guy. I mean, he has so many double digit hauls as well.
Hmm.
If Chelsea doubled, I think I would just do it. I don't know. I might chicken out. It depends what Chelsea's fixtures are like.
Yeah.
It's just been so hot and cold. For anybody that doesn't know me, since we're on Yelena's channel, like we're both massive Chelsea fans. Well, you
There
can
was a
see.
hint behind you.
Yeah, like I didn't even think about that. um, so I'm kind of like, do I want to have the pain of, of captaining my team and then having it not work out? But could be an interesting shout. I mean, he's just been doing amazing. He's on penalties,
Hmm.
especially with Nkunku potentially coming back from injury as well.
Yeah.
Think he's going to be somebody that if he can stay fit, a lot of people are going to be trying to get him into their teams. And I'm really excited to see the link up between Palmer and Nkunku.
Hmm.
I want to see Ben Chilwell back fit. I touched on him, but I think that he made like the difference in the semifinal versus Middlesbrough,
Big time.
going on about how important Ben Chilwell is to this team for 2 years now, like since he's gotten injured after the Champions League. So maybe I'll
He
have to
is
go Chelsea. Who knows?
he is such a big presence, and I think especially when you've got such a young team, you need someone like Chilwell to just guide them. And it was a real, real loss when he was out. And I just the captaincy choices this year, they've not gone very well with the team. We have Chilwell, we've got James, both out.
Oh, I thought you were talking about FPL, and I was like,
Oh
no,
yeah,
you're
that too. Captaincy
not.
all round. It's funny you said you got onto Palmer when he was under 4% owned. Now 37.2%.
That's mad. I think
That.
this is like one of my best FPL decisions ever. Like that
Hmm.
and
Don't that hurts me
the
from last
Wilson
season.
captain, that was like the 40 pointer. Those are like the two things. Maybe you get like one every season or one every couple of seasons, and like the Palmer one.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I keep talking I don't mean to be arrogant at all. I'm just like so shocked that
No, it was an amazing shout because you stuck with him as well because he didn't have a kind of amazing start, did he?
yeah.
And then it was Burnley, game week 8, 12 points, and then it all kind of went on from there. No,
Yeah.
you were way ahead on that one.
I have to see if there's a way to see it. I'm sure there is, like when you transferred in a player.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just been, I think, like one of the best signings for Chelsea, not even of the season, but of the last 4 or 5 years easily. He's just been incredible.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm hopeful with him. I currently have my captaincy on him, but I'm probably gonna change it.
Yeah, after this stream, God knows what your team will look like.
Yeah, I know.
Alex in the chat says, will you be going to see Chelsea at the League Cup final? No, unfortunately. Can someone send me an Ellie tickets? Because it would be such a fun trip.
Wait. Oh, wait. I would actually love that.
Let's get planning. And we can do a live vlog. We have another question. Who would you replace Salah with? At the moment, I am on. I think if funds aren't an issue, I'd go Foden. Funds are an issue for my team, so my replacement would be Bernardo Silva. Would yours be Richarlison?
Yeah, I already have Foden on my team, so I'll just give you guys a rundown of my current team so you can see. It sounds really dire, but then I feel like maybe it's not as dire as I thought it was. So I have Dubravka, Porro, Saliba, Stupinian, Trent, Saka, Palmer, Foden, Bowen, Solanke, Watkins, and then my bench is Turner, Archer, Torres, and Salah. So I have Foden in my team already. So now I'm kind of thinking, like, I need to sell Salah, but also everybody in the chat is saying to attack the game week and bring Walker in. And so now I'm heavily tempted.
You're going full attack.
Yeah, but I think like key replacements would probably be like any City midfielder, like a Foden, Bernardo Silva, maybe KDB if you're feeling really risky with it. Jota as well if you want to do a sideways replacement. Richarlison. I also had my eye on Gordon. I don't currently. Oh, is that my team?
Yeah, got it up.
Oh,
ready to go.
Amazing! Look at you
From the Yelly League.
Yeah. Also have my eye on Gordon as well. I had transferred him out of my team and now I'm kind of regretting it, and he's a really good price point if funds are an issue as well. So I think that those are probably the standout players for me.
Gordon's also one of those players, similar to Ollie Watkins at the kind of start of the season, where they just tick along. They don't have these huge hauls, but getting that extra goal or assist each week, especially when you have a really, really tough week, it does kind of keep you up there. So I think Gordon is one. I hope by the end of the season I risk captaining him, especially for a home fixture, because he just always manages to get points. It's a really, really nice little player to have. Brian says Saka is looking too expensive for points value when there are others like De Bruyne, Gordon, Foden, Jota. We just discussed this on Ellie's channel, so I will put a link to the video in the description below once you've uploaded it. But Saka, it's the ownership that's keeping us all there, I think. 62.1%. It will just take, if he gets a brace one game week, that's the rank ruined. But then I do think, are there other options that you, because as Brian said, De Bruyne, Gordon, Foden, Jota, there are so many midfielders that I would be keen to bring in. And I think, is Saka just taking up that spot? And fair enough, he might have 1 week where he hauls, but in the weeks that he doesn't, will I have someone else that is more like a Gordon, where they're just continuously ticking over?
Yeah, that's the thing that I think about as well, because you want to look at it as a whole. So I'm trying to think, even if he does have a game week where he gets a brace, what's he doing in the other game weeks? And we can see from the past game weeks when you had pulled that up, like he really hasn't been doing all that much. Like he hasn't been getting so many attacking returns. He has 3.721,325. So if that kept ticking along like that, I wouldn't be so upset, because if you look at the average, maybe the player that you bring in is going to bring more points on average and you're going to have a better rank. And maybe you have one red arrow, but you're going to be better off than you would have been if you kept him. He's one that I'm honest to God thinking about transferring out of my team as well. And I just feel like if I didn't have the Salah issue in my team, I would be transferring him out probably.
Yeah.
And just maybe it's going against the grain a little bit. Fun fact, my team is literally 1 in 1 million, I found out.
Hey, well done. All about being unique.
I know, I know. So I think like play your own game, and if you don't think that he's worth it, then I would just transfer him out because there are a lot of other players that could be good value.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think honestly, I'm gonna give him a couple more game weeks just because I have other issues that I want to attend to, and then if not, like I'm gonna probably transfer him out.
I mean, Holmes just made a point. If Partey's coming back, that may help Saka. I think it's the risk of taking out a player that's nailed for 90 minutes on penalties, has such high ownership.
Mhm.
But it will be really just. I mean, we looked at it on your video, but his last double-digit haul hasn't happened since game week 6. Um, he started off the season so strong though, 10 points against Nottingham Forest. I think we were all, no wonder his ownership did go whoop, straight up, and then now it's at a point where everyone's a bit too scared to sell him.
I did see as well a graphic today that he actually has, I think, maybe 1 point more than he did at this point last season. His ownership is 20% more, something like that. So it could just be a matter of like how the points are getting spread that's
Yeah.
making us kind of feel that he's underperforming. But I just look at the past couple of game weeks. Again, I'm gonna give it a couple more game weeks, but I don't know. I tend to play FPL more with my gut. So if I really see that I feel that a player isn't performing, I try not to think about like the expected ownership or the ownership of the player and just go for it and take a risk. And then the worst case, you can bring him back in.
Yeah.
It depends how much money you have sunk in him now as well. Like I think, let me see. I have him at 8.8 and he's currently 9.1. So I have a bit of money in him, but it's not like so detrimental.
Yeah, it won't keep you up at night. I mean, it's interesting because if you look at the stats, they're very similar to last year. He's just not converting them into goals, which obviously we want our players to score goals. He scored against Fulham, but it was a very flat goal. It wasn't one where you looked at it and you were like, woohoo, he's back. And then Palace obviously had an assist, which was then disallowed because it turned out to be an own goal by Henderson. So he is still attacking. It could just be the luck. He's just getting, I don't know, it's a really tough one. But I think for my team, I'm going to stick with him. But if it's the same story in kind of 4 or 5 game weeks time, or by the time I wild card, I might just do it and get rid of him. As has said, can I open this Amazon box? Yes, you can. I think it's for you anyway. We had a question, which I don't think you and I are going to give a very clear answer on this one because we've been talking about it too. But what do you think of captaincy for this game week? And then I have no Man City players. So this game week, I am bringing in Bernardo Silva specifically for that fixture and obviously for longer term. If you don't have and you're not planning to bring in any City players, I don't really know who I'd go for. I'd be tempted to target the West Ham United fixture and go for a Solanke captaincy, but personally, I don't think I'm brave enough to actually do that. I wouldn't want to go against Chelsea by captaining anyone from Liverpool. I think Brighton assets, if you've got a Brighton player, I wouldn't mind captaining João Pedro or Gross, potentially. But I don't think there's a real standout. What are you thinking?
I know that's the thing. Like we were discussing this on my video, like the video on my channel as well, because I currently have the captaincy on Palmer, which is a little bit of like a rogue choice, because I feel like Chelsea show up in the big games. I feel like we play. He's been getting goals and assists. I think he's the first player to, well, he's hit double digits for us. I think Mason Mount did that like 2 seasons ago for us. But he's already into 10 goals, I think, and 5 to 7 assists for Chelsea so far this season. And I feel like there's going to be chances in that Liverpool game, and it just depends what Chelsea show up. Because we do create chances, it's just whether or not we're clinical enough with our chances. And but then part of me is thinking, well, we've just played a semi-final. We're going to be playing the FA Cup, and then we have this. So are we going to be super fatigued and not playing at our best? But I think a lot of people have Palmer, so that could be an interesting differential choice. Also, Watkins could potentially be interesting. I'm going to see how Villa play versus Chelsea in the FA Cup tomorrow. But I feel like he might be due, and Newcastle's defense hasn't been the best. I'd probably stay away from Saka at the moment. We've kind of been talking about how we're thinking about transferring him out, or just like not really relying on him so much. So I think I'd maybe go for a Palmer or Watkins, or if you don't have any City players and you're not thinking of bringing any in, well, those are the ones I'd go for. But if you have City players, maybe a City player.
I mean, Martin's made a really good point. He said, Captain Porro, Brentford have no left backs. Regulon can't play versus Spurs. Brentford are a very leaky defence. I mean, I've got Pinnock in my team, and I don't think he's got me a clean sheet once this season since I've brought him in. And I think this is another reason, even though it was a decent game for Brentford against Forest on Tony's return, they've been struggling this season. I mean, before Tony returned, I think they were only 4 points above relegation, and defensively, it's just not there. I think if I was going to go near Brentford defence, it would be Ben Mee, because he is capable of attacking returns, and we saw how good he was last season. But Spurs captaincy, Richarlison could actually be calling my name for that one. That is quite tempting. And then does this push you to do the Salah to Richarlison?
I was just kind of doing in my head kind of the math, like, okay, if I bring Richarlison in, then my transfer next week is going to be Haaland, likely. And then I would need to wait another week to bring Walker in, and then I'm not so ahead of the game on that one. So I might be taking a -4 and just doing it.
I think it's happening. I think you'll get. Do you remember? It was the start of this season. I remember it was like 10 p.m. I was in this pancake house, and then you were messaging me. You were like, "I'm taking a hit," and then I was like, "Okay, I will too." Full of sugar. We'll have that again this game week. Someone said in the chat, where was it? Oh, Neil says, hit the like, folks. It takes a millisecond. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Someone in the chat, and I've lost it entirely, but they said, can we guess what's in the box? Do go ahead. Here we go. It's FPL Freddy. Can we guess what's in the box? Az has opened it. He's a fan. We've got another question up here that I missed. Eze for next game week against Sheffield United. Generally, I would say yes, but Palace, I don't feel good about them personally. And whilst every game week I've kind of looked to see, I feel bad for Sheffield United fans, but I have looked to see who they're playing, because I think that's going to be a haul if it's a big team. But I'm not sold on Eze, to be honest. Are you?
No, I'm not sold on him either. He did get a goal versus Brentford in game week 20. But I'm just not sold on Palace as a whole. And I feel like there are a lot better options let me see how much he is. So he's 6 million. So he is a cheaper option, but if you need to go for a cheaper option, I honestly would go for like a Palmer Gordon, and there's plenty of differentials that you can have in midfield at the moment, even if they're a little bit more expensive. So personally, I would stay away from him. I think you could probably get better bang for your buck elsewhere.
It's funny as well, because you were saying, I can't remember who, is it Foden that you've got a bit of you're a bit resentful against? Because I have that with Eze. I went for Eze over Mbomo at the start of the season.
Yes.
Then obviously Brentford was getting penalties every game week. And now I think I can't touch Eze, which is really annoying. Okay. But it happens with these players. Charlie said about Richarlison, I don't think you should necessarily avoid Richarlison because of the blank, as Spurs have 3 of the next 4 games at home. Could sell or bench. I'm thinking of Son to Richarlison and Salah to Foden. I will say, Charlie gives me such wisdom on every single team selection. I always panic, and as soon as I see Charlie's comment, he's like, don't panic, you're fine. And then will like talk me through it, and I think I should probably record a video after I've spoken to Charlie. It's a bit less all over the place. But that is a really good point. And yeah, Richarlison, you can. I mean, where we've got benching headaches, sometimes I kind of welcome, like this game of last game week, with Salah obviously not playing. I was like, I'll just put him on the bench. It's kind of, it takes a bit of a dilemma out, makes things a bit
Yeah.
more straightforward.
Yeah.
But
Now if I do that transfer, I pick up a bit of a benching headache because I have to bench I yeah, I have to bench somebody. Do I bench Solanke? Do I bench Saka, Saliba? Um, do I bench Trent versus Chelsea?
this is
I
the
don't
problem because your team is actually quite nicely set up for this game week. We have been
know.
asked, how much money in the bank do you have?
Let me tell you, thanks for asking. I currently have 3.7 mil in the bank.
Oh, wow. I thought it was 3.4. You're rolling in it.
I I don't know what I've done this year. Like, I
What's
was like,
do you know your team value?
oh, how do I find that out?
If you go on transfers, maybe it comes up.
Transfer. Wait, on transfers, I don't see it. If I pick my team,
Can I show the chat your game week history? Because your comeback this
yeah,
season has been ridiculous.
yeah, that's okay.
Look at these green arrows. It's absolutely mad. 2.6 million, 1.7, 1.3, 1.2. Game week 16 was an off one. And then into the top million. That was just, you had such a good run.
I know. I have two red arrows in a row, so I've been in a bad
That
mood.
just means a green arrow is on the way.
I know. Well, I hope so. But yeah, I started the season really, really rough. And I was at 4 million, 3 million for a couple of game weeks. And then I had some picks that just like totally took off. And so I'm hoping to kind of get back on that. I was early on, but I was really early on Bowen. I was really early on Palmer. Watkins, I missed like when you got his hat trick. I missed him, but I think I hopped on him right after and he started picking up. But I don't know how to see the money in the bank. And I see, like, I feel like I've seen it before. Oh, here, squad value. I have 102.4.
Ooh, you've made money.
I don't know if that's good.
Good investments. Some people have a ridiculous squad value. I don't know what mine is. I'll find out. But yeah, no, you've. I think your season's really turning around. And look at what happened last season when you had the Callum Wilson hat trick, and you captained him. Who knows? You need to honestly, Ellie does. You go with your gut instinct, but it always pays off.
I know. Well, I tried to go with my gut instinct so I'm at least not upset when it doesn't work out. Like this the phone in captaincy, for example. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. So yeah, Paolo, if you have any ideas what I should do, I think I'm gonna do Salah to Richarlison. And then I have to bench somebody. Might end up benching Solanke, honestly.
Or if you're thinking of transferring out Saka,
I
could
know.
go big. What is it? Put your money where your mouth is.
I know. I know.
But then Forest away.
So
Ooh.
scared though. I was so scared.
It'll be a freak week where he scores a brace and then in the 97th minute we'll get a penalty.
I just know like whoever I bench is probably going to like maybe I bench boost. No, I'm not going to bench. I just feel like whoever I bench is gonna haul.
I'll be like, what chip are you using this week? You'll be like, all of them. I have none left. Salah said, very interesting actually. I've had Bernardo for the last 3 to 4 weeks and he's beginning to haul more bonus points than Foden. So that's sold me on him even more.
Oh, I'm jealous. I went on Foden and he did nothing for me, so now I'm like regretful of it.
This I hate this. This is why I also like with Darwin. I was like, I'm not going to transfer him out until he scores a goal. So now that he's scored two, I'm like, I don't mind transferring him out too much.
Like you're done.
I've been asked, who do I support? I'm a Chelsea fan as well. Ellie and I have had a tough season. A lot of reassuring each other and trying to stay positive about things.
But the thing is that like I feel like people forget how many injuries we freaking had this season. And the amount of money that we spent just constantly overshadows it. And it just makes me so frustrated because we spent one, we sold basically our entire team. We raised a ton of money in order to be able to spend a lot of money, which people
Hmm.
don't really talk about. But also, we bought a lot of players who are young. They're all under
Yeah. We've
23.
got the youngest team, haven't we, in the league?
Yeah, which nobody talks about. And so
Mm.
it's like, of course, they're going to be inconsistent. And then you throw like your captain and your vice captain are out. They've only played 11 games together since the Champions League final, which I think is
Hmm.
ludicrous. Like, two of Chelsea's best players, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
could go on a whole rant about this. Sorry. So.
Do subscribe to Ellie's channel because there is a rant incoming. Salah said, "Is Madison a captaincy shout for Brentford at home?" I think we agreed. Yeah, Brentford's defence is leaky, as has been said in the chat. Um, where was the comment that I just... No, as Phillips, my heart bleeds for Chelsea. Do you know, when we met, Az thought I was a Forest fan, and then I told him I was a Chelsea fan, and he was so disappointed.
It wasn't a deal breaker, though.
I'm surprised. I think if he'd have known before speaking to me, there would have been no chance. GV says, "Thank you, Elizabeth, for giving me a different view."
Oh, you're welcome.
Martin has come through with some advice for your team, so I will go back to it. He said, "Benching headaches is the real FPL game. Maybe Archer to Isak and Salah to Richarlison."
Archer to Isak, but then I'm gonna have like even
The
more.
benching headache from that would be tough.
Yeah, I do. I do quite like Isak though, but I feel like Newcastle have been a little bit more inconsistent. Maybe they'll be coming back since they don't have the Champions League football.
Yeah, and I mean, Newcastle at home are just a whole other... I
Totally.
mean, look at that run after Villa. I mean, Villa away, I wouldn't necessarily say is a super difficult one.
They do have
Um,
a really good run.
but then Luton at home, I would like Isak for that. Forest away, Bournemouth at home. That could be quite tempting.
It is quite tempting, and I just feel like
You're never going to do a live stream with me again. You were quite set in your transfers, and now
I know.
Martin suggested Isak.
Now I'm gonna take like a -8, like Salah to Richarlison, Archer to Isak, somebody to Walker.
I can't wait to see your team. It's going to be Tuesday. If we do end up filming for your channel, it would just be
Bro,
chaos.
yeah, total chaos.
Are you planning to bring in Haaland eventually? Yes, I will be. I think as soon as there's rumours that he's fit and ready to go, ideally it'll be an early City kickoff. So then we'll get some rumours ahead of the deadline. I think that'll be the best case scenario. I would just hate it if I don't bring him in. And then again, the first game back for a player, it always seems to be a big one. And Haaland has been out for a while.
Yeah, and I think I think most people are probably going to be in the same boat with him, but it's just kind of trying to play it as smart as possible because I also don't want to bring him in too early and then have all of that money just sitting on the bench when you could have other players playing.
Yeah.
Um, Tentatively, I'm looking to bring him in for game week 23, like the upcoming game week. But we'll see. Depends.
Time will tell. Salah says, "I'm going to bench Palmer and play Darwin Núñez." Oh, that's...
That's
Oh, I don't know if I could go against Chelsea. And also, Palmer just seems to have a way of getting
I
points.
That's the thing. Like, I just wouldn't go against Palmer. And I was actually thinking, I was like fed up with Chelsea, fed up a couple of weeks ago. And I was talking to Olivia Bazaglo, and
Hmm.
she was like, don't sell Cole Palmer. Like, he's everything good is coming through him. Like, just hold on to him. And he's just been doing so amazing. Like, he has
Hmm.
three double-digit hauls in his last 5 game weeks. So, even though Chelsea are playing Liverpool, like he scored. Look, he scored versus City. He scored versus Spurs. He scored versus United as well. Like he's scoring in these big games. So I personally wouldn't bench him, but that's
No. And the thing is with Darwin, there are so many times you think he's going to score and then it just doesn't come. But maybe he's found his feet. I don't know. Could be now
also,
Salah's out, he's stepping up.
I don't. Well, Chelsea's defense it depends as well, but I think what we're gonna see is Chilwell rested for the FA Cup game, and then Chilwell starting versus Liverpool. So that could also sway you. I do feel like Chelsea's defense just tends to be a little bit leaky and open,
Yeah. But
but
to
we
be fair
still
to
have
us,
players.
we rarely get annihilated.
Yeah, like I think we should have Colwell playing as a center back, Silva, Disasi as the right back, and Chilwell as the left back. So that gives me a little bit more hope for Chelsea's defense as well.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe in a couple of game weeks' time, it's so annoying. Chilwell was probably one of my favourite assets at the start of the season. And then with the injury, obviously, it just all went wrong. And then didn't he came back and then got a red card?
I don't I don't remember. He could have like I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he did. I know that he like came back and then got injured like almost instantly.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna
Because
say at
I
Chelsea
feel
fixtures. Oh, sorry, I keep cutting you off.
I feel like Ross brought him in, and I was really jealous because I was
Oh,
like, that is such a smart move. And then I'm
I think
sure
it
he got
was
a red card.
I think it was Reece James. I know Reece
Oh,
got
Oh no, it was Reece James.
yeah. I think it was
Oh,
Reece. Um,
it's
but I
such a shame. Reece James. I mean, obviously, we'll go back to questions in a second. But my heart bleeds for him. The mental impact this must have taken on him. He's such a good player. It's really, yeah, I really feel for him.
I just hope that, like, now that he's gotten surgery, I mean, I'm no professional, I have no idea. It kind of felt like he was trying to put it off a
Yeah,
little
big
bit,
time.
avoid it. And I have no idea. It could have been that it wasn't an option last year, but it just felt like when the season was over, we didn't have anything to play for. You have that plus like the summer to recover. That could have been a better time. But I'm glad that he at least went for the option that works best for him. And hopefully, with the surgery, now he can come back and get back to his best because when he's fit, he is one of Chelsea's best players and he is a fantastic FPL asset as
Yeah.
well. So hopefully, we'll see him back fit next season.
Fingers crossed. We've had some advice about Darwin. We've got Darwin is hit and miss. Don't get your hopes up too high. I saw Martin did a nice description of Darwin. Where was it? There's so many comments. Keep Darwin. Wish I owned him. Such a menace. I like that description. I think that sums up Darwin. I'm gonna have to end the stream shortly. We've been going for ages. I didn't realise time's gone so fast. But FPL discomfort. Reece James has missed the last 5 Christmas fixture periods. He's only as good as the British weather. I like that description.
That's crazy.
Charlie has said, I think it's wise to hold off Haaland for the coming game week and bring him in for 23. The one we want him for is the double and triple captain. Yeah, I think that is. Whoever looks best between Haaland and Salah will be getting my triple captainship. I think I'm not too brave to go for anyone else.
We'll see. It was harder last season because there were so many double game weeks that you really had so much opportunity to go for either of them. And I feel like it's like there's not as much choice. So you kind of have to just do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I completely agree. We'll finish on this final question, which is, would you captain Bernardo versus Burnley if you have no other City assets? That's exactly my plan. And I was quite confident with it. So I would say yes. What do you think, Ellie?
I mean, if I had him, I think I would. And we were chatting about this, like, do I try to captain Foden again since I've already captained him and it didn't
Yes.
work out? Like, should I just go for it? But I really love your team, Yelena. Like, I wish that I had your team at the moment, honestly.
You wait. You'll be taking that back. I mean, if you look at Foden, he had attacking return. You just got really unlucky. Past 3 games, an assist, a goal, 2 assists. And then I think the Newcastle game was just really unfortunate. But Burnley at home, surely he'll get something.
Swear to God, if Cole Palmer hauls and I take my captaincy off of him, I'm gonna
We
be
won't see you again.
pissed.
Oh, well, on that note, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I really enjoyed the stream, and I think it's probably given us more questions than answers. which is ironic. But no, it was really fun, and thank you so much, Ellie. Obviously, we just recorded a video on Ellie's channel as well, so once that's uploaded, do check it out, subscribe to her channel, switch on the alerts so you don't miss it. Ellie, have you got any final words of wisdom?
Yeah, no, just thanks for having me. I honestly can't believe that we've been chatting for almost an hour already. And well, for us, like two to 2.5 hours today. No, 2 hours. It hasn't been that long. 2 hours. And it's just always such a pleasure hopping on your channel and just chatting FPL. And obviously, I sprinkle in a lot of Chelsea in there as well. But thanks so much for having me. And guys, make sure to sub to Yelena's channel because she puts out amazing content and does so much. And you really upped it this season as well. Like your thumbnails are amazing, your graphics are amazing, the videos, like OBS is working for you.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you so much. And yes, do subscribe to us both so you can keep up with the content. Don't forget to like the stream before you leave. And we will hopefully see you. When will we do the next one? Ideally Friday, maybe?
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Well, we'll see you next Friday. Bye, guys.
Bye.